Day freaking 11. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Day number 11. If you're still here, I know you are. Give yourself a freaking clap. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a big old freaking hug and smile in the mirror. We're going to talk about this in a second. Most importantly, I love the hype music. I love the focus music. I love them. Keep sharing, keep inspiring. There are people who love this and see this and go, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is powerful. 100% powerful. Okay, so day number 11, let's look at what we have, right? Focus on building a second habit with consistency, right? Consistency. We've built the first one. We're tracking that progress. Now we're going to build a second one, right? And we're going to track that. And now we have consistency. We're building this consistency. I want to talk about something that I talked about on day number 10. And that was how to extrapolate, rip out the negative thoughts that run through our brain. Okay? So we're going to go through this process. In this process, as you're building your second habit, right, as you're thinking about your second habit, this is the process that we've got to go through. This is going to rip out the negativity and get us to elevate even further and past where we believe and what we want. That's what we're looking for. Elevate and push, elevate and push. So here we go. When I was probably about a year and a half, I don't know, it was about 12 months, 13 months into my custody battle, right? The divorce part was really simple. Sign a few papers, we agreed on a few things, and we were done. The custody battle, that took the longest, right? That was a long time. I hit a point where I said to myself, I can no longer just live in this space anymore. I was so exhausted mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, physically. It was affecting my work. It was affecting who I was as a person. Everything sucked at this point. So I made this decision. And here's how it birthed. I was sitting in bed. Went to bed on a Friday, sitting there, just sitting in my bed. I went to sleep and I opened my eyes on a Saturday. And I'm like, I don't even want to get up. What is the purpose of me getting out of bed today? What is the purpose? And I just laid there in my bed, looking at the ceiling. I hadn't eaten dinner on a Friday, barely ate any lunch. I just laid there looking up at the ceiling, blank. Nothing would run through my head. No thought, no emotion, no drive, zero. Just laying there in a quiet house, kidless, just laying there, just sitting, not even sitting, just laying, eyes open. And I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. Woke up again, nothing. Went to bed, woke up, went to bed, woke up, went to bed, woke up. And then later on, as I examined what it was, right, I was just in this depressed mode. I was super depressed. I wasn't hungry, wasn't really crying, like crazy crying. Tears started to run down my eyes. But I just laid there. I didn't have to go to the bathroom at all. I just sat there, laid there in my bed. And then as I just endlessly went off into oblivion, I noticed that it was dark again. Oh. So then I went back to sleep, and I woke up, and I went back to sleep, and I woke up, and I went back to sleep, and I woke up all through the night. Now it's Sunday, and I typically go to church, worship service, but I just laid in there, nothing. Zero desire to move. Zero. In about midday, I had this thought. It said, if I don't get up or move out of bed now, if I do not move now, I may never wake up. That's a weird thought to have, right? I thought to myself, if I don't actively try to move, I may never move. I may never wake up. And so then I said to myself, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move my left leg just out over the bed. Can I accomplish that? So it took me some time. I don't know how long, but it took me some time. And then I moved my left leg and hung. My ankle was at the edge of the side of my bed. That was an accomplishment. And then I said, okay, I'm going to extend my left arm out and I'm going to touch the side of the bed. So I touched the side of the bed. I'm like, okay, that was an accomplishment. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide myself over to the edge of the bed, which I did. And then I said, I have got to get out of bed. But I had zero desire to get out of bed. So then I said, I'm going to flip my left leg onto the ground. And that took all the energy and all the strength and all of the decision making and all of the pain and hurt, everything to move my leg and put it on the ground. And I flipped my leg and it hit the ground. What happened though is my momentum carried me and flipped, and I literally just slid off the ground. And I landed on my left knee and then my right knee, and I sat kind of awkwardly. And I was like, oh man. And I hadn't moved for over 24 hours, just laying in my bed. My body was like, what the crap? But it was at that point, at that moment, that I knew that I had just accomplished small and simple things. This small little movement I accomplished. And I said to myself, I will never, ever go back to that again. I will never allow that, whatever it was, to hold any kind of space over me, hold any kind of energy, hold anything over me ever again. So what did I do? Here's what I did. I finally got up. I kind of wobbled over. My legs were kind of looked like a newborn baby, right? Trying to learn how to, not newborn, but a toddler trying to walk, right? As their hands are like this, right? A deer, have you ever seen a baby deer kind of move, right? A fawn, let's just call it, right? Get over to the sink where I'm at. I put my hands down on top of the sink and I look at myself and I go, you are a better man than this. Get your shit together right now. Your kids need this. You need this. No more. Starving. So what do? You run to Taco Bell, right? You spend $10, you get a whole thing. Before I went there, I went to Walmart and I bought a dry eraser and dry markers. Went home, ate my food, super hungry. Then I went into the bathroom and I cleared my mirror, cleaned it, sprayed it, cleaned it, whole 9 yards. I had music going as I was eating and as I was cleaning. This is what birthed the hype music. I had this music going, playing the music and playing the music, playing. I just was like, this is awesome. So then I'm spraying the mirror and I'm cleaning it off and I'm getting it so clean and so pure and so beautiful, right? That I'm looking at it going, gosh, it's one of those where you clean a mirror and you're like, dang, there's like, I can see myself, but I look like I'm real, but I'm really looking at myself, but it looks like somebody else. Kind of that weird, right? Here's the crazy thing. I, at that point said, I am worth way more than what I'm thinking. Way more. So I took out my black dry erase marker and on the board, on my mirror, right, across the entire top of the mirror and all the bottom of the mirror, I wrote the word I am, and then I filled it in with a word. And then below that I am, I wrote another I am, and I filled it in with another word. And then I wrote another line below that I am and filled it in with another word. And I wrote from top to bottom, I was able to get 6 words. Here's the thing. I wrote it across the entire board, the entire mirror. I was able to write super huge, super huge. I am. I am powerful. I'm amazing. I'm a badass dad. And I used a couple other choice words, which I won't say. So then what I did is I stood in front of the mirror and I went like this. I breathed in through my nose for 4 seconds, held it for 2. And as I breathed out, I would say, I am a badass, and scream it. And then I'd do it again. And then my hands started to do this. I am a great dad. And then I did it one more, and then I did it again. What I noticed is as I was bringing it, my hands started to come up like this. And so then I started to reach my hands as high as I could. I tried to shove the tips of my fingers through the top of my roof as I was breathing in and reaching, breathe in for 4 seconds to hold it, and then hold it for 2. And then as I was breathing out, my hands started to come down and I would say, I am. And then I would say the next I am statement. I did that 6 times and I would scream every single time in the mirror as I was looking at it. This was just before I went to bed. I grabbed my journal. It was just a piece of paper, college rule. And I wrote down the 6 I am statements on that. And I said to myself, I've got something here. That was the last thing that I saw before I went to bed was I wrote down those 6 I am statements. I went to sleep and I woke up, got up in the morning. Guess what I did? I erased the 6 words, not the I am, but the 6 words. I erased those 6 words. And I wrote 6 new words. 6 new words. And I was like, okay. And then I wrote them. I did the same thing. Breathe in, hands reaching super high, hold it, and then screaming those words out. So then eventually what I did is I grabbed my pillow so I could scream in my pillow because like people were like, what the heck is going on? And screaming as loud as I could and start my day that way. Those were the 6 I am statements that I did that day, morning and at night. And guess what I did the next day? I got up before everything, before looking at my phone, before looking at anything, before looking at any BS. I would do the I am statements first thing. And then what I did is I had 6 rows of I am with 6 new words. And I would say these 6 words twice a day. So if you think about it, you say it 6 times twice a day, right? You do it 6 times twice a day, right? You're saying it 12. So that's 12 times you're saying it in one day. And in a span of 7 days, if you take the 7, right? 7 times 12, do some quick math, right? That's 84 times. 84 times in 1 week. I had told myself over and over again, I had told myself all of this 84 times in 1 week, over and over and over and over again. The I am statement. And each time I wrote it down in my journal, each time I wrote it down in my book, again, call it a journal, it really was, but I just wrote it down in the book. That became my mantra. That became my motto. That became the base of what I was looking at. That became everything that I knew was in those 6 phrases. I am. There came a point, though, where I just was like, I don't know anymore. So I go online. I go, what's a different word for or different phrase of saying, I am a great dad? I'd Google it, boom, and it would spit out, here's some different phrases. Perfect. That's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to write those babies down. That's what I would write. If you take the 84 times that I would say, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am. Think about that. Think about that. That's 144 times. 144 times in 1 month that I told myself I am this twice a day, morning and at night. Think about, this is a 30 for 30 program. You don't think I haven't done this before? You don't think that I haven't gone through what you're going through? That's why I developed this program. That's why I feel so passionate about this. Because 144 times I would tell myself in 1 month, 30 days, I am, I am, I am, I am. And it changed the neurological mindset, all of this. My body salivated morning and night when I knew that I was going to say the I am statements. That was a habit that I have held on to for a long period of time. A long period of time. So, the focus now, the journal entry is, what is your I am statement? Build your own process. Do maybe not exactly what I did. I would suggest it because it's fan-frickin-tastic. But if not, dedicate and say, for the next 30 days, I'm going to say 6 I am statements, morning and night. Morning and night. Breathing in, you're breathing in the positive, and you're screaming out the negative. You're breathing in clarity, and you're pushing out obscurity. You're breathing in the love, and you're pushing out the hate. I love you, boys. Stay with it.